Hey Friendzonies, thanks for tuning back in to another Keeping It Real with Danie Steele. So on this video, I want to talk about schools and classism. This is also going off of the previous two videos that I've put out. Check those videos out if you want more background, I guess. But, you know, on top of growing up in foster care, growing up around addiction and abuse, I went to private parochial Catholic school, kindergarten to 12th grade. So I have a very unique experience of life, of school, of interactions with people. Many people don't know, but I met my husband. His family acts like they don't know. But I met my husband, shade. I met my husband in undergrad at UB, University of Buffalo, which was the only public school I ever went to. So I have a very unique experience and view on schools. In general, I know that when we have children, they will not be going to public school. But I also know pretty much that they won't be going to a private parochial Catholic school the way that I went to, the way my husband went to as well. We're from the same hometown, and we have the same experience of going not only to private parochial Catholic schools, kindergarten to 12th grade, but also high school. I went to an all-girls private Catholic school, and he went to an all-male Jesuit school. So we also have that experience for ourselves, and we both enjoyed that experience, and I think that that's something that we will definitely seek out for our kids when they go to high school, same-sex schools, because you don't need to be around people of the opposite sex. But what I want to talk about with the classism is not only something that I noticed while I was in school, not just K through 12, but undergrad and grad school. But I also have noticed it as a teacher myself. A lot of people will come to the comments and say, well, what are you doing for the black community? Well, what are you doing for the black community? Okay, one, I'm making these videos. And if you check my videos, you'll see that it empowers black people, young black people particularly, a lot. What they're going through. They could be in foster care, they could be in an all-white school and feeling out of place, and my videos are seek to empower them in this way. But I also teach predominantly black students, Hispanic students, and white students as well. So I'm doing a lot. I teach drama, theater, and it's the best thing ever. I love it. I wouldn't trade it for anything. It's the most amazing experience. So, you know, I don't just teach theater, drama. I teach my students about self-love and empowering themselves, because one thing that I learned that, you know, very few teachers focused on with me. I had a very low self-esteem, but of course I'm a black woman, so everyone just thinks that you're sassy and you think you're all that, and whatever little trigger words come to mind for them. But I had a low self-esteem from my experiences in PWI, predominantly white institutions, and growing up in foster care, growing up in other people's homes and them putting me down, being a dark-skinned black woman. So I had a low self-esteem for a very long time. It's still something that, you know, I work on. Yes, I do think I'm all that. But it's a process. Everyone should think that they're all that all the time. So, you know, it's always a process. And one thing I noticed in all my school experiences is that the schools know whose parents are involved and who isn't. So, for example, if you go to a private school, most people there are paying tuition. They're paying thousands of dollars, sometimes even more than people's college tuitions, for their kids to go kindergarten to 12th grade. We didn't have anyone paying. We didn't have parents paying for anything. You know, my deadbeat dad that you guys want to shout out to all the trolls who want to talk about being a traitor of the race. That would be the deadbeat dad that left his kids in foster care. He didn't pay shit, right? So nobody was paying anything. Foster parents weren't paying anything. No one was paying anything. And I think that, especially when you're in a private school and everyone that works at that school knows that you're the kids there on scholarship, you're treated differently. They know that your parents aren't going to come down. Your parents aren't contributing anything. They're not contributing money. I remember there would be kids who would be like, they would take stuff off a teacher's desk and say, well, I paid for it. My parents paid for it. Yes, they would. Just little snacks and things here and there, whatever, candy or something that they saw, and they'd be like, my parents paid for it. I'll take it. And I never felt that way. I always knew, I'm here on scholarship. I think other students and certainly faculty and staff knew that we were poor. I don't know why, again, they didn't offer us free lunch, because if you know that the kids are poor, why would you not offer them free lunch? But the classism was huge. I noticed that immediately. And it wasn't so much race related. There were students who were black, black as me, whose parents were very involved and their parents paid tuition. And those students were treated differently than I was treated, without question. So when parents are involved and the teachers and the faculty there at the school knows that, hey, this student's parents will come down here and have a talk with us. They have clout in the community, whatever it is. When they have an understanding of that versus this kid has no advocate, they will treat you differently based on that. And today I'm friends with very few teachers from all of my school experiences, but the teachers that I am still in touch with and that I consider friends, of course, were the ones who I didn't feel made me feel like I was less than because I didn't come from a rich family. Which is apparently something that's very difficult for adults to do, which is very sad. As I said in my first video back, since I've been better, I was very sick. And that's why I'm going to try to make this video short. I'm checking the time right now. I'm going to try to make this video short because I'm going to cook my husband dinner, something that I've been doing since I've started feeling better. I cooked him dinner every so often, but I try to cook him dinner every night now because I just feel so blessed to be healthy and alive, and he took such great care of me when I was sick. I feel like it's the least I can do, which was difficult because I didn't know how to cook really. So I'm like learning. I'm still learning and training myself, to be the cook of my dreams. Shout out to Chef Gordon Ramsay with his cute European self, okay? He's taught me a lot of things. My husband's been a little jealous, but also happy that I'm learning how to cook. So, and please open some restaurants in New York City, please, okay? Okay, so anyways, back to what I was saying, classism in schools. You have to understand that that's how schools work, and I don't think a lot of parents understand that. And even today, I will see teachers talking to kids in a way that I was like, if I was this kid's parent, we would have problems because you're not going to talk to my kid like that. I remember when I was in grade school, a teacher, I'm going to call her Mrs. Blue. For anyone that went to grade school with me, you might know who I'm referring to. And if she's still up and about, you might know I'm referring to you, Mrs. Blue. She yelled at my little brother. And, like I said, we were growing up in foster care. We're growing up in abusive homes. And she's yelling at him, just like he's nothing. And it hurt my heart so much. And it was the first time I thought, like, I could physically harm you for how you're talking to my brother right now. And I knew it was because we didn't have any advocates, because I had teachers talk like that to me before. She probably did too. I don't have much memories of her because she's whack. But yeah, it was just so dirty and trashy to me when I see that type of behavior. And kids pick up on it. I tell my students all the time, I'm never going to yell at you. Never. It's not going to happen. Because I don't have the energy to do it. One, I don't. Don't get me wrong, I can be loud. I tell them, I've trained for years, so you're definitely not going to speak over me. You're not going to be louder than me, but I'm not going to yell at you. It's not my place. I don't want to do that. I don't want to leave these students with impressions of me yelling at them and breaking their self-esteem down. Children need positive reinforcement. You don't know what a child is going through. And to talk to a kid in your kind of way, specifically because you know that they don't have parents or an advocate of any sort, is disgusting. So I noticed that type of behavior and made me sick, and I noticed it particularly all throughout, my grade school years. And one particular thing that happened to me, so in 11th grade, I ran for senior class president. I had been in student government since 6th grade, when no one wants to do student government, okay? So I easily won. By the time I was, 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, I was class president every single year. I would be promoted as captain of certain teams. And the vice principal of the school that I went to decided that he didn't want me to be class president anymore. I think he had a talk with some people's parents, and they wanted, I think that I don't know what it was, because it was never discussed with me, and they know I didn't have parents. If someone had parents, you would discuss this with their parents, because it was huge. I had a lot of the students saying, well, then I'm not going to vote, because I only want to vote for Danielle. So what happened was I was class president 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade. And so 11th grade, I'm running for class president. And that year, the vice principal says to, and the vice principal kind of ran things student-wise because he was young, and a lot of the people were much older. So for some reason, they gave him a lot of, you run this activities, and he was running student government stuff, I suppose. And he implemented something that year that had never been implemented, which was, we're going to give you letters to let you know if you can run for class president. Never did that before. They'd never done anything like that before. Again, I ran for class president 9th grade, 10th grade, when no one else wanted to run. 11th grade, people didn't run against me. They were like, oh, I'll try to be secretary or vice president, but people didn't run against me. It was a done deal. My older sister also done student government. So it was, I'm a natural born leader. I'm a, expressive person. I always thought I was an extrovert, but now I realize I'm an introvert. But, I was more qualified and fit to do this than anyone else. That's why I did it. And that's why I did it so well. I took it very seriously. It meant a lot to me. So he decided that particular year, they were going to let kids know by letter if they could even run. And when I heard that, I knew that they were trying to out me. You know what I'm saying? On some Tamron Hall shit. I go down to the guidance office to read this letter. I get the letter, I open it. Sorry, you can't run, basically. And I'm just standing there looking at this letter. And he comes out the cut, right? Because he knew that people were going to come down to look at these letters. And he knew that I would see it. And I was very involved in school. I actually did a speech for the Lumina Lux Awards in front of crowds of people to raise money for this school. I memorized a speech, and this was the second year I was doing this. So while I'm doing this, they tell me I can't run for class president. The reason being, we just feel like basically you monopolize it and it's time to give other kids a chance. Really? Really? So if I had parents that came to that school all the time and were putting money to that school and were at the games and talked to the teachers, you would have done that? No, you wouldn't have. That was done because, like I said, people were going to college. They wanted something sparkly on their resumes. And besides, I've been sitting around here just being a student. And they knew that I didn't have anyone that would fight for me. So when other girls, because like I said, I went to an all-girls school, decided like, okay, well then I won't vote, or I'll just vote for Danielle. The vice principal calls me into his office and tells me that I'm manipulative. This is the conversation he's having with a 16, 17-year-old girl. That I'm manipulative because other girls had decided that they didn't want to vote and participate in the election because I couldn't run. And I told him, I don't see how I'm being manipulative when I didn't raise any of these girls. So it's really interesting to me that you're telling someone that grew up in foster care, who's had to take care of themselves their whole life, who's hanging on by a thread at every moment, who doesn't have lunch money, who goes into the photography studio to do extra work because she doesn't want to go to the lunchroom and embarrass herself because she has no lunch money, that I'm being manipulative. I think if I was being manipulative, I would have manipulated people into giving me lunch money. It was classism. It was grimy and shady as fuck. I don't talk to this teacher to this day because it was disgusting. I would never do that to someone. He had no reason to do it besides, like I said, to take advantage of the situation. So that made me forever realize how young black kids without advocates can be treated. In PWI, predominantly white institutions. It was heartbreaking for me. And I couldn't even deal with it for years. You know, I really couldn't. It just blew my mind. So I just wanted to share that story with you all to let you know, if you have children, like I said, I don't have any children. Like I said, 5 siblings, ages 23 to 33, we have no kids because of the experiences that we've had, and we know that we don't want to risk any of our children having a day of an experience like the lifelong experiences that we've had. So I want to tell you that if you do have kids, watch out for your kids. Participate with your kids' school, okay? Go to parent-teacher conferences. Go to your kids' games. Learn who your kids' teachers are. Talk to your kids' teachers. Let them know that your kid has an advocate. Because if you don't, your kid could be being mistreated. You know, certainly emotionally. And it's just not right. So that's it. I'm going to get going. Like I said, I got to make my husband dinner because I want to. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Thumbs up this video and leave me a comment below letting me know what your school experience was like. If you had any similar type of experience to what I've just described, let me know in the comments below. We need to talk about these things. We need to get the truth out there. And like I said, if you knew me when I was young and I felt like you were trying to be a funny dude and trying to play me, you're going to have a YouTube video brought out about you. So wait for it. I'm willing to wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. It's coming. Okay? Because you don't get to mistreat people. It's not right. Okay, so I got a lot more stories, got a lot more videos for you guys. Again, thanks for watching. Keeping It Real with Danie Steele, the DK Show. And I will see you next time. Bye, guys.